So, without further ado, you know him as Sir Bronn of the Blackwater, now Lord of Highgarden. Please welcome Jerome Flynn.
Hi. Thanks. It's very nice to be here in Nashville.
Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome.
Thank you.
First order of business. Did you ever, in your wildest dreams, think that Sir Bronn would be sitting at that small council table in the almost final scene of the entire show? You made it.
Yeah, no, I really, I didn't think I'd make it to the second season, let alone the... the whole thing's it's just been such an incredible job, and I don't know how Bronn did that. I kind of have to admit I wanted him to be up there with everybody, kind of saving the world and being a bit of a hero, but he got his castle. That's all it...
Got his castle. Castle, title.
He got his fucking castle, that's all that counts.
It is all that counts. So yeah, how does it feel to have it all out there and it's all over?
Oh gosh, in a way, I don't think it'll ever leave us or leave me. It's been such an incredible experience, and it continues. 10 years ago, I didn't even know if I was going to act again, let alone be coming to Nashville to talk to you guys. I thought it was a good length. I'm glad they didn't kind of milk it and carry on, and I know there's lots of mixed opinions about the last season, but I still think they did a pretty good job, actually. So yeah, I'm just very grateful for it all.
Yeah. So season 8, obviously, Bronn had a bit of a mission that he didn't carry out in the way that maybe Cersei would have wanted him to. But ahead of the season, you had said that you were worried that fans might not like Bronn as much. But I don't think that any of us like Bronn any less now that, right?
Well, I don't know. I found it hard punching Tyrion in the nose, I got to tell you.
That was the toughest bit?
It was tough, but he didn't kill. I don't think he was ever going to kill him. He might have killed Jaime, but.
Ooh, why do you think Jaime and not Tyrion?
Don't tell Nico that though, because he's here tomorrow. I think he had a real soft spot for Tyrion. Well, he did. Because I was playing him, so he did.
You're the authority. You're the authority. You get to say.
Yeah. I think he saw himself there. He was an underdog, and he had to really fight for himself. And I think his sense of humor and just his way of life. Tyrion and Bronn, had quite a lot of crossover there. So, there was a fondness for him that I probably hadn't had with another guy before.
Yeah, and so Jaime could have gone. You would have crossbowed Jaime, but not.
There was some love grew there for Jaime, but he was ready to lose him.
Fair.
For the castle, because he'd been screwing him around just wasn't coming up with the goods.
Jaime didn't give him that castle, Tyrion did.
No, and he took off, without a text or a WhatsApp or anything.
No raven was sent.
Nothing, he didn't even tell me.
Yeah, that's rude.
It's rude. But I wanted to be getting on a horse and going down there, and I think if I'd been able to write it, he would have ended up with Daenerys, actually, probably. Before, I think ideally I wanted heroic end for him. I wanted to suddenly turn up next to Tyrion, fighting the White Walkers. That would have been my dream ending. It's just as well I wasn't writing it, though.
Well, because Bronn's hero moment came in season 7 with the spoils of war and the big scorpion, but it was interesting because he was pitted against Daenerys, so there was a little bit of complexity going on there, right? It's not as black and white as fighting the White Walkers.
It wasn't as black and white. He was doing what he had to do. He didn't get a good look at Daenerys then. I think if he and she didn't him. I think, if they'd met, there's a whole other ending that could have happened.
I really want this season 8 version, just like a fan fiction of what Bronn...
I've been there a few times, yeah.
We're gonna find your Tumblr with all the...
I mean, Bronn has. Obviously not me.
You are one of the few actors who was on from the very beginning all the way through to the end of Game of Thrones. Do you remember the point in time when you realized that the show was as massive and huge and popular as it was?
Well, I wouldn't say there was one point, because that massive popularity continued to grow. So it was like this kind of expanding dream. But I didn't know how the show was going to be when I said yes. In fact, I was worried that it might be quite bad, because I thought, with all respect, I thought Americans doing medieval European history could turn out not so well. But
Fair.
I was, I very quickly, just the quality of writing, because we hadn't been allowed to read the scripts, quality of writing, the epic scale, and the cast that they put into it. It became clear that I was in a really good job, but none of us could have known, because television hadn't crossed that line that Thrones, up until then, there'd been nothing. And it was part of a television revolution with long-form series coming in. So we couldn't have dreamt that, really.
Yeah, and I believe it's probably going to be the last show that people all sit down and watch at the exact same time together, because TV's changed, like you said.
It does. I like to think that there'll be something else.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Do you remember which scene you auditioned for Bronn?
Yeah. I think Tyrion was asking me if I'd kill a baby.
Lighthearted.
Oh, he said,
audition
yeah,
stuff.
he said to me, "What would you say if I asked you to kill a baby?" And Bronn said, "I'd ask you how much." And I never thought he would actually kill a baby. I thought he was just playing the game and saying what Tyrion wanted him to say. He wasn't a baby killer. Didn't have it in him.
Not a baby killer, not a Tyrion killer.
No.
It's good. I'm glad that we're all on the same page here. I know that each of the actors got a really nice gift on their last day of working on season 8, and it was a storyboard, right, of like a significant scene for you. Which scene did they choose for Bronn?
It was me with the scorpion. Taking aim.
Taking aim. Yeah. What was that last day like for you?
It was surreal, really, because we were just all... Actually, now I don't have to be secretive because we've seen it.
Blurt it out. Everyone knows.
Because there's a funny thing, Thrones, because you could be 3 or 4 years and you still hadn't worked with most of the cast. That was the case with me. So in that scene, there were guys I hadn't worked with who I was, really kind of a fan of. So I was just excited about doing the scene, and then suddenly, I'd forgotten it was my last day, and suddenly everybody was there, and Dan was giving a speech, and so it was surreal. It was moving, but it didn't really hit me until a few days afterwards that I wasn't going back, because for 8-9 years we'd been going back. So, but there's something to being with all those people, not just the crew, not just the actors, but the crew and the Irish guys there, and everybody that was involved, to have gone through what we went through together, and in such an awesome show, we'd become a family, and so it was very moving to say goodbye. But that's acting. You get close to people, and then you move on to the next job.
And so it was the small council scene, like that, like final.
That was my
scene for
final
Bronn.
scene.
That was your final scene. Awesome. Did you take anything from set?
No, I think a pair of socks was the most.
That's what Hannah Murray took too. Was it the waterproof socks? We heard all about these waterproof.
I did actually get a pair of waterproof socks. I haven't worn them since, but no, I wanted my leather jacket, my leather whole bronze. It was such a cool outfit, but no, they won't let us have any of it because they're using them now all in like museums and all sorts of things.
Yeah, like a touring exhibit of, cool. So you mentioned it's like you can talk about secrets now. You don't have to worry about spoilers. How does that feel? You're free.
Actually, I kind of like teasing people, so it's a bit... Yeah, I was, each con I was trying to convince everybody that, you know, Daenerys was going to see Bronn and her legs were going to go, and now I can't do that anymore.
What was was there ever a secret that you really, really wanted to tell people, like a big plot twist that was coming up?
I can't say I did. It just became commonplace, you know, that was the way it was. And I wouldn't want to tell, you know, but often, people would ask, but it's like, then you'd say, really? Do you really want to know? Because I'm a fan of the show and I didn't want to know. I mean, I tried not to know what was going to happen as much as I could. I would not read the scripts. It was only the last season when they forced us into the same room together to read the whole script. That's the only time I'd done that because I didn't want to. I was a fan, so I didn't want to know what was going to happen.
So beforehand, would you only read like Bronn's scenes and then let everything else? You would just watch the episode. Yeah,
and I thought it was a very Bronn thing to do. Like who cares about the rest of them? But seriously, I didn't. I loved the show, so we used to have Thrones night back home, and a load of friends would come together, and I wanted to be there as much with them, not knowing what was going to happen as everybody else.
So what was that table read like? Because, like you said, that was the first time that they had done that. So I'm sure it was 2 days, right? 2 full days?
Yeah. I'm glad I was really glad to be asked and that I did it, even though I found out what was going to happen, because it was a really special occasion. And I don't think I realized and probably everybody else, until we got in the room and all sat down together. I think nearly everybody was there. And you know, there's kids there who were literally kids. You know, their teenage years had been growing up in Game of Thrones, become so close, and those parts had become so important to them and all of us. And just as we read each episode and started losing the people and started getting towards, it was very powerful and very emotional at the end. Because, you know, actors being actors, whatever you ask them to read, they'll give it their all. So it's like we lived through that whole thing in 2 mornings. And it was very moving.
Was there a moment that surprised you the most out of the events that were unfolding throughout season 8?
I think Jon killing Daenerys was a shocker. That was probably the most surprising thing.
Yeah, so you didn't read them beforehand, you were reading them live. Because I know there were a significant number of folks they couldn't wait to read the scripts as soon as they arrived in their inbox, but you held back.
Yeah, I wanted to leave it to the occasion.
Yeah, which makes it all the more intense, I'm sure. Season 8, now that it's out there, do you feel relieved at all? Like, what's the emotion now that it's...
I think relieved only that it was such a crazy build-up. I mean, I'm sure you guys must have got quite sick of it as well, because there was so much. And because we had to wait longer than most seasons, it's like the press had to have stories every day, and we're grasping desperately at anything. And it was just, so it's a relief in that sense, I think, just to be like, okay. And, but not a relief, you know, if they'd I would have gone back, you know, every year, because it was such a lovely job. But all good things must come to an end. That's life, and there's new horizons, and it's opened so many doors. It's been the most incredible job.
I have a very important question that could change the way everyone thinks about Bronn. What in the 7 hells is Bronn's last name?
Might be Jones.
Bronn Jones. Heard it here first.
I think Bronn's his second name. I think his first name's James.
James Bronn?
Yeah, his dad had a sense of humor.
I love it. I love it. I think that we're going to start taking questions soon, so if folks want to start lining up the mics right over here, but while you guys get your ducks in a row. Oh, that was fast. There you are. Go nuts.
Well, I wanted to beat you to the punch because I figured you might have this on your list. This may be a shock, but you seem to be somewhat of a mischief maker. Did you pull any pranks on your co-stars?
What makes you think I'm a mischief maker? I tell you, Peter Dinklage was the biggest mischief maker, but I did. There is one which might cover another question, because often I'm asked what was the favorite moment. And so this was quite mischievous, and one of my favorite moments was when I was reuniting with Pod, and Jamie was in the tent with Brienne, and I kind of ambushed him, came up behind him, grabbed his neck, and then I was teaching him how to fight. And we'd done the scene 3 or 4 times, and the director said, okay, we got it. And he just came up to me and said, let's do it one for fun. Have fun, Jerome. So there's this line where I say to him, come on, Pod, you're the one with the magic cock. And I said, come on, Pod, you're with the magic cock, and I grabbed his balls. Quite hard.
Nice.
And you can go, and that's the take they used. And, it's on YouTube, and you should take a look, because his reaction is just the best. Because he's like, did he really do that? So he was just in Pod, it was just Pod. It's like, you bastard.
Speaking of YouTube, if you haven't seen it yet, I strongly suggest you take a look at A Song of Vanilla Ice and Fire, because you've got a key part in that, and you'll enjoy it.
Okay.
Guaranteed.
Cool.
Song of Vanilla Ice and Fire.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
So my question is, so you end up Maester of Coin, right?
Master of Coin.
What did Bronn do / say to end up in that position? I want to know what that discussion was.
The deleted scene of the negotiations for Master of Coin.
Damn, I didn't do my backstory there. I think he probably had a few bottles of wine with Tyrion.
Okay.
And sorted that out, but I haven't got an answer for you there.
How do you think he'll do?
Sorry?
Do you think he'll do a good job?
I think he seemed to be doing a good job when we left him.
Sure.
He had priorities.
He had some priorities.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Okay.
Hi. You have a beautiful singing voice. Can you sing us a song?
You just have to rewatch Game of
Come on.
Thrones.
Okay.
You go on, that's another thing you can go on YouTube. It's like another life.
We do want like a Bronn and Podrick.
Yeah,
duet.
I have written to, I've challenged Dan to join up, and I thought we could call it Bronn and Podman. Bronn and Podman. Yeah, I've got you under my grayscale. I thought that would be a good one.
We'll stay tuned for that installment.
I don't know if I'm tall enough. Okay, hello.
Hi.
So my question is, of all the characters, I know you're a fan of the show, what is your favorite character's storyline? What did you find most fascinating?
Woo.
Aside from Bronn, of course.
Yeah, I think I'd have to go for 2. I'd have to go for Arya. She was my hero, her just, especially initially.
Woo, Maisie!
Maisie, yeah. It's like I don't think I saw Maisie for 3 years, and then when I did, I met her in the makeup truck, and I was starstruck, because I thought she was so amazing. And I'd have to go for Peter, Tyrion, yeah.
Love the little finger love. Well done. Thank you, Jerome.
Okay.
Hi, Jerome. Thanks for your performance. Thanks to you, Bronn is an amazing character. I have
Thank
a maybe somewhat pointed question. As we know that apparently you and Lena Headey couldn't be in the same scene together. I wonder, how did you guys manage this logistically? Was it a source of any troubles on the set or production?
We were actually in the same scene together. And
Early
the last
on,
time
maybe.
I saw Lena, we were speaking. So I wouldn't believe everything you read. And like I said, they can get pretty desperate for stories. So
I'm glad, thanks.
okay,
Stick to the reported facts.
Lena's a
folks.
wonderful person and a wonderful actress. I think they're wonderful.
Hi. So, what's your favorite fighting / battle scene that was filmed?
Sorry, favorite what?
Fighting
Fighting
/ battle
Yeah.
scene.
Which battle?
Yeah.
Well, I'd have to go for the the one where Bronn got to be a hero.
Spoils of war.
Yeah, because I'd been really, he was a fighter and he hadn't had a decent scrap for 3 years,
Yeah.
and had missed out on some of those wonderful battles. So when that came along, I was so happy because it's an amazing thing to do actually, because there's so much expertise and genius put into that, and we spent a month making that in the Spanish hills, which was beautiful in itself, with thousands of extras and these incredible stuntmen, and to have that freedom and that trust to create a battle and to kind of, when the camera rolled, and just to go through and have the horses and the fire, and there was so much. You didn't need to act, you just had to kind of survive. So that was a real privilege and a treat.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey there, Jerome.
Hi.
So Richard Madden has been speculated to be playing the new James Bond. People have also said for Idris Elba. I'm saying, why not Jerome Flynn?
Why
for
not
James
Jerome
Bond?
Flynn?
Why not Jerome Flynn?
Hey! Yay!
Would you do it?
Would I do it? If it was Bronn, if it was James Bronn, yes. If I could do it as Bronn, I think that would be a laugh.
I'd watch that.
Yeah, I might not get away with the other one.
So we're up to 2 spin-offs here now. We have Podrick and Bronn singing, and James Bronn. It's great.
I think Richard would be he'd be a great James Bond though.
How's it going?
Hiya.
So yeah, what I'm curious about is that scorpion scene. Just when did Bron get that block of instruction to be such an effective, operator of that machine?
Well, I think he's just an effective operator. I think it's his confidence that he could deal with anything. But I got a feeling he'd had a little practice before, because he likes to know, if that had been built specially, he would have been practicing, I would imagine.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, my question is, if you wrote an original screenplay, who's one actor or actress from Game of Thrones that you would make sure you wrote a character for?
Oh, God. Well, there's so many of them. I mean, what an incredible cast. Yeah. I can't answer that, because any one of them I would love to. I mean, personally, I would, in terms of spin-off, me and Tyrion and Pod, just put us on the road. I had a fantasy about, being up in the castle with Daenerys. Maybe the sand snakes as well. Maybe they're up there. But then Jamie serving us tea. That's my fantasy.
Yeah. And then
any one of the actors. Yeah.
another quick one. Who do you think Bronn's worst matchup would be for a one-on-one trial by combat type situation?
I don't think he'd have a struggle with too many. But he ducked out of the mountain fight.
Yeah.
For good reason. I think that was a sensible thing to do, but otherwise I don't think he was that he's a wily character.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
I wanted him to be there in there at the end. So he obviously didn't.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
Okay.
Hello, my name
Hi.
is Brandy. I'm from Detroit.
Hi.
I had a question. What did Bronn do his first day at Highgarden? He finally got his castle. What did he do? Outside of what we think we know you did your first day. We know you were loving on some women. We do know that. But after the loving.
Yeah, I can't talk about that. What did he do?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Did he wash some dishes? Did he talk about remodeling some stuff? Love it or list it? What did he
You should
do?
come up here. You come up here.
Okay.
Do you think he really would have washed some dishes?
Probably not.
Probably not. I think he probably got bored really quickly and gave Tyrion a ring. Said,
Makes sense.
yeah, tell
Send
your
a
brother
raven.
to come and make some tea.
I got you. I got you. Thank you.
Ciao. Except his brother wouldn't have been able to, of course. I know, it's terrible. He's going to be here tomorrow, though, so he's doing all right.
Hello. My question is, Bronn had a lot of iconic lines that I use. My favorite is, did they teach you that at Fancy Lad School? And
Very good.
Thank you.
Was that a Scottish accent?
It's anyone's guess at this point, but that's the one I use. And I was curious, did you improvise anything, or did they understand the character of Bronn so well and how well you played him that they just handed you those softballs and let you ding them?
That's one of the things they did wonderfully, is I think they picked up on his character and what I was bringing to it really quickly, and and kind of channeled that kind of northern laconic sense of humor really well. So there's a few things like the pod incident, which they didn't come up with, and a couple of other little things, but mostly they were right on it. I didn't have to. I mean, it was a amazing thing to walk in, and every time I knew every scene he was in, I was going to get something wonderful to say, and that happened. So yeah, I didn't have to. In terms of the lines, I didn't have to change anything.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hello. With chaos being a ladder, as Baelish puts it, and when he climbed, it didn't end too well for him. And with chaos being a ladder for your character, you climbed it very passively, and it ended up very well for you. So at what point, if any, did Bronn develop a plan to get there, or was it just laissez-faire, I'll do whatever comes along? Did you ever, playing Bronn, have a plan to end up on top, or was it just a good day?
Oh, he definitely had a plan to end up on top. And underneath. Those were about his only plans. No, we're going to get in trouble here. But he had I got pictures going through my mind. He had his sets. How do you put it? He had high aspirations, didn't he, from early on? He was gunning for that castle. His plan was just to get it, and to keep on and doing what he did. That's why he chose the Lannisters, and he was wily, and so, but there was no specific.
No moment, he just kept on keeping on?
No.
All right.
But obviously things would, like that opportunity that was brought to him when he was brought the crossbow,
Mm-hmm.
that was a time where he could use that to his advantage and turn that round from what it was supposed to be to him actually getting the very thing. He had kind of had them to ransom then.
Thank you.
Okay.
Woo! Hey, Is Keanu Reeves as breathtaking as I've been led to believe?
What have you been led to believe?
That he is as majestic as a lion galloping across the savannah.
Wow. I was really, really impressed with Keanu just as a human being and as a professional and somebody to hang out with. You never know when you're going to go and work with those guys, people of that caliber and who are that famous, what you're going to get or how their business is going to have affected them. And I found he was just like, as he comes across, he's just a dude. He's just a really cool dude who keeps himself to himself and loves, really. I mean, it was amazing to work with him on that job. He gives himself to that, to that for 5 months, however long it is. And he loves every minute of it, but trains really hard. And he's he's a unique, wonderful actor. It's a treasure.
You.
Hello.
Hi.
I was wondering if you could share a story of any cast member party that might have gotten out of hand or a little wild.
Were you now?
I don't think there's any kids in the room, so you could feel free to get it.
It won't go anywhere. Nope.
Nothing.
You ain't getting nothing.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I have a tangential question, which is that I heard that some of the cast around the season 8 premiere parties that were happening in New York, that you guys maybe got a peek at the original pilot.
Oh yeah, they did. They went off. I wasn't in that, but the ones that were in it went off and watched it. Yeah, all came back a bit ashen-faced and quite drunk. Yeah, but no, that must have been a really special thing to do. But yeah, they hardly kept any of the original pilots, so yeah.
We'll never know.
We'll never know.
All right.
Hi.
Hey, quick question. You were introduced to a character that didn't live very long after you talked to him. Dickon. Now, in the show,
What about him?
In the show, you laughed when you heard Dickon. I did. Was that scripted or was that genuine laugh?
Well, I take it as a compliment that you didn't, maybe it looked unscripted, but it was there in the script.
I thought it was unscripted. It was great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi. So you mentioned one of your favorite moments was your scene with Pod.
Yeah.
I was wondering, what was your favorite behind the scenes that we may not know of? Just your favorite thing that happened?
Oh, God, that's a really difficult one. Behind the scenes. That's almost like the other guy's question.
Well, you mentioned Peter Dinklage being mischievous.
He was just,
on
and
set.
Peter was sometimes, I wouldn't even be able to, I remember there was a scene where we were planning the Battle of Blackwater Bay, where I got my knighthood. And there was me and Varys and Peter. And he just mucked, the writers had deliberately written a line almost to make us laugh. It had kind of sexual connotations.
Yeah.
There was a certain entrance. No, I can't.
The Mudgate?
I can't even. No. I can't even remember exactly what it was, but it's like we didn't notice it until Peter said it, and then suddenly he was gone, and we honestly were in huge trouble. We didn't finish the scene that day because we couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, and Conleth also, who plays Varys, is a very funny man. They're two very funny men, and once you start, you're in trouble with guys like that. So it was one of the most joyful days. But otherwise, I don't know whether there's any
Okay.
particular things.
Well, that's good. Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, I was just wondering, you know the fight that almost happened between Bronn and the Hound? How do you
Yeah.
think that would have went down?
Yeah, good question. I don't know. I have no idea, except, last time I saw Rory at the premiere, we'd had a few drinks and we lamented that we didn't have more to do because I would have chosen, I loved just that little bit I had with him, and I thought he was awesome what he did with Hound.
Yeah.
Beautiful, and I would have loved him and Bronn to have got together. That would have been cool. Another spin-off.
Right? Thank you.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
I just have to say, I love Ripper Street, and you are just so fantastic in Ripper Street. It's one of my
Thank you.
favorite shows. It's phenomenal.
Thanks so much.
And I am wondering if there's anything in the Game of Thrones, universe that Bronn would find shocking. I mean, was there any moment in the show when you're watching it, even as a fan, and you're like, whoa, that's even too much for me, or
Well, I don't
someone
know.
as world weary as Bronn?
I don't know about Bronn, but I would think he would. I mean, but there was something about, I always forget, is it Shireen? Yeah. Something about that particular episode and the father watching that happen. It was, and she was so cool, she was such an innocent, and so that I found that toughest for some reason. And maybe Bronn would have as well. Who knows?
Sorry to bring the place down. But thank you.
It's okay.
Hi, I'm Sel.
Hi.
Hi, and I'm just wondering, what was your favorite scene to film these last 2 seasons?
Last 2. Well, I think it would have been, like I said, it was the loot train.
Yes, you were a badass in that scene.
I was a badass.
Like, you were a badass. Like, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Then there was the scene when I was stuck in the prison with the sand snakes. That's another one. For very different reasons. But, it was tough. That was, okay, see ya. I was talking to myself. I was off on
We're listening.
If you could send yourself a reassuring message or a piece of advice to your past self working on early Game of Thrones, what would that be?
Working on Game of Thrones?
Yeah, early Game of Thrones.
Wow, that's deep.
Don't worry about it. You're going to make tons of money.
Just stay cool, dude. I guess something like that, because if there was one thing that as it kind of expanded in its popularity and got bigger and bigger, it did become, I found it because normally, yes, Bronn was there kind of very early. The character seemed to just be there in me, but there was a lot of pressure every year coming back because the show had just gone each year, and there seemed to be more and more people on set with more and more kind of screens and more producers watching it, and also you knew that every word you say was going to kind of be examined. So there was quite a lot. I was grateful for my meditation practice because you had to really center and stay present with what you're doing. And as soon as you start thinking about all that stuff, you're kind of out of character. So I would probably say just stay cool, dude, and keep doing what you're doing.
Nice. Thank you.
Okay.
Hello, Jerome.
Hi.
Game of Thrones is a pretty global production. I was wondering, in the cities that you filmed in, what was the best place to hang out and have a drink, and who was your best mate to hang out and in your downtime? Just
we got to go to some great places, but Seville was really beautiful city, and that was because I was doing quite a bit of work with Tyrion and Pod there early on. We had a couple of big nights. So that if you had,
Can we go into details of one story, like one really good tying one on, like getting pissed story, like just one for everyone to enjoy?
One, just a little.
Yeah, just one.
Just a
one.
private.
You mean when I pull my
Not the
trousers
best one,
down
but
and-
just one. Like,
Just mooned the whole of Seville. Nope. Okay.
Hi.
Okay, hi.
So my question is kind of similar to his because I was going to ask about places and sets that you guys got to work, being what are your favorites? Like, I guess the most beautiful places that you guys got to work and kind of see, and maybe what was the worst kind of country or set that you had to work on, like the hardest due to like nature and weather and everything.
Well, oh God, there was so much beauty that I mean, Dubrovnik was. I'm a Pisces. I love sea water.
Yeah.
And the sea around Croatia. If you ever get to go to that part of the coast, it's stunning. It's really special. So Croatia was amazing, and Spain, where we were up in mid-Spain, in this beautiful national park. And we often got to be in, old cities because of the nature, because of Westeros, King's Landing rather. So it was a real gift. I mean, I'm so lucky to be able to travel to places like that in a job that I love. Maybe the toughest was like Northern Irish countryside in January on a very cold winter in our second year. Like shooting a battle at night was quite tough.
Yeah.
Sometimes it could be tough.
Did you guys ever have to like cancel a scene mid-scene because of weather or anything, or did you guys just push through bad
Sometimes.
weather? Okay.
Sometimes you'd have to stop, yeah, if
Yeah.
the rain came down or. But really, I'm not complaining.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
How do you, as an actor, cope with all the waiting that you have to do on a set? I mean, there's all this makeup and setup, and you sit there in the trailer and you wait and wait. How do you cope with that?
You might write an email, play a game, talk with your fellow actors. There used to be a lot more of that.
Is this where the Bronn fan fiction was born?
Bronn fan fiction.
Yeah, with all the Bronn and Daenerys imagining was
Could
born
be.
out of.
Yeah. Dream about whether you're going to be on top or underneath. Sorry. So, yeah, I'm not one to get bored, so there's always something to do, something decent to read, or something good, some good person to talk to. So, and very often we're in beautiful places, so you can take that in. So yeah, I didn't have a problem filling time.
I can't imagine any other actor playing Bronn. You've established a memorable character.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
So there is a lot of costume work that goes with being on the show. Have you ever been out in public, off scene, with your friends, with your family, with other actors, where you had this phantom urge to grab your sword or to grab your back dagger and then realized it wasn't there?
I've had many phantom urges to grab my sword. And most of the time it's been there. But aside from that, I can't think of a time when I've like been in the pub with my friends and gone to grab my sword. No. It's not happened.
Thank you.
Okay. It's a good question. That's up there with the best.
Sorry, still laughing. Just going back to the sand snake scene.
Oh yeah.
Right here. I think we were all just amazed at how beautiful your voice was. And if you would not mind gracing us with just a line or two from anything.
I couldn't, no.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, but I'm really glad you enjoyed it.
It was beautiful.
It's
Thank
all
you.
on YouTube, folks. You can watch it anytime.
There was extra stuff there. There's all sorts of stuff on YouTube, me singing. Very funny.
Hello.
Hi.
Would you enlighten us, which the writers did not, please finish the jackass and honeycomb joke?
That wasn't my joke to finish, though, was it?
No, but you were there. We weren't.
That's true. You got me.
Thank you.
Okay.
Did you guys all talk about it on set? Like, does Peter Dinklage know the ending to the joke?
I don't know. We didn't talk about it.
It's the biggest mystery left after Game of Thrones.
There you go.
Gonna have to ponder that one.
Hiya.
Back again. So, Bronn's traveled all around Westeros. He's alluded being as far north as the Wall to all the way to Essos. Did the showrunners give you any kind of notes to his backstory? And if so, can you elaborate?
They didn't give me any notes.
Okay.
I figured, though, I had to kind of, just what little I did is that his dad didn't hang around long, and I think he's got, I think he probably experienced violence very early on.
Mm-hmm.
And that was probably one of the reasons. And, you know, he saw his family and his mum and maybe his dad suffering, being born lowly, and I think something happened early on that made him think, he must have witnessed, maybe his dad got killed by somebody who was higher up, and he just thought, sod that, I'm not gonna stay down here, I'm gonna get up there. Something like that. But
Get your own castle.
Exactly.
Also, was there any actor that you did not film a scene with, other than Emilia Clarke, that you would have wanted to? And if so,
it's not some. I can't. I mean, there was so many wonderful. That was the thing. Is what, you know. I just relished every time if I got a chance to act with any of them. But there's none other than wanting a bit more with the Hound, and I would have honestly any of those guys were just so good at what they did. So.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Congratulations on your new appointment in the small council. How do you plan on managing all the coin for King's Landing when you can't read or write?
You want to go outside? I don't think you need to read or write to look after coin.
It's a good plan. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, last question.
Ooh, okay. Hi. Thank
Hi.
you so much. I just want to say really quick, really appreciate your campaign around factory farms in Northern Ireland. That's super important. Oh, yay! People care about that. Awesome. Go have the Impossible Burger. It's really good.
It's delicious.
Yeah, it's delicious. Very serious, important question. What was your reaction to reading the script and you read the bad pussy comment? What was your reaction to reading that great line?
Can you remind me of that?
Really? Okay.
Maybe I've got an emotional block about it.
Okay, maybe you do, because that was a special script moment. The sand snake is after
Season 5.
Yeah, season 5.
Yeah.
It's the last thing she says to you before you hop. Yeah, you like the good woman, but you
Yeah,
need
I
the
think
bad.
I really do have an emotional. I think it was.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
think
I'm
I had
surprised
to-
you didn't remember it.
It's come back. There's only so much. I had to hear that in a certain way, otherwise I just wasn't going to be able to work for the rest of the day.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Awesome. Well,
Oh
here
my
we
God,
are.
it's been outrageous.
This has been amazing. Thank you so much for coming to Con of Thrones.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you. Can I go?